Our scripture reading for the day is taken from Matthew's 9th chapter, 27th through the 31st verse. And when Jesus departed thence, two blind men followed him, crying and saying, "Thy Son of David, have mercy on us." And when he was come into the house, the blind men came to him. And Jesus said unto them, "Believe ye that I am able to do this?" They said unto him, "Yea, Lord." Then touched he their eyes, saying, "According to your faith, be it unto you." And their eyes were open. And Jesus straitly charged them, saying, "See that no man know it." But they, when they were departed, spread abroad his fame in all that country. And thus is the scripture reading of Matthew's 9th chapter, 27th through the 31st verse. Again, I say to you, good morning. Scripture, according to what's stated in the scripture and the words of Jesus, and the two blind men. Scripture states that the two blind men followed Jesus, crying and saying, "Thou Son of David, have mercy on us." Scripture states that two blind men followed. Now, if you're blind, how you going to follow somebody? If you're blind, how you going to see somebody? If you're blind, how are you going to know where to go? Scripture states that they were blind, but yet they were able to follow Jesus. And this blindness that the scripture speaks about, it's not a physical blindness, it's a spiritual blindness. They were spiritually blind. And they were asking Jesus to heal this spiritual blindness so that they could see. Now, scripture states also that the blind men followed Jesus into the house to where Jesus had gone. The blind men followed Jesus. Now, I'm reminded of blind people that I have known over the years that were physically blind, that had to be led from point A to point B. They needed some help. They couldn't find their way on their own. Now, you do have some people that are not 100% blind that are able to get around. They have a walking stick. And that stick makes sounds and taps and things, and by that inner ear or that uh, refined sense of hearing, they're able to make their way around. What I bring to mind to you, two of the most famous blind people that we know, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles, physically blind, but yet they were able to see and to play their instruments, piano. Stevie Wonder would play drums and everything. And I was blessed in those early years to have met both of these individuals. And I remember one occasion with Stevie. Stevie said there was a time when they were talking about doing an operation to restore his eyesight. And Stevie said that he didn't want his physical eyesight restored. In other words, Stevie could see more within than most people could see without, with two functioning, working eyes. There's a whole world within that we can see and experience and know the truth without the aid of the physical eye. Of course, now when we use the physical eyes to look out at the world, we really don't see reality as it is. The outer world is constantly changing, very fluid. It is only when the spiritual eye is open and we can look within and behold the truth of life, of reality. There will be folks that will argue and say, yeah, well, I see pretty good. I don't wear glasses, got 20/20 vision, et cetera, et cetera. They might see a whole lot of what's going on out in the world, but can they truly see what's going on within them? That is key. It is not what's going on out in the world that is key. It is what is going on within you that determines your life, that determines what you are, that determines what you can do, what you can be, and what you will become. So when the two blind men followed Jesus into this house, asking Jesus to heal them, restore their sight so that they could see, not the things of the outer world, but that they could see that which was within them. And Jesus said unto them, do you believe that I'm able to do this? Do you believe that I'm able to restore your sight, your spiritual sight? Do you believe that I'm able to bring forth, to awaken, to cleanse that spiritual eye within you? Do you have the faith? And Jesus said, according to your faith, it's done unto you. Isn't this what we talk about on this spiritual path? Your faith. how your faith can move mountains, how your faith can bring about changes in your life that you never dreamed possible. And there's a saying in the scripture that says, if thy faith is the size of a mustard seed, you can speak to this mountain and say, be thy removed. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to move the Allegheny Mountains or the Smoky Mountains, but it does mean that whatever situations or challenges that come up in your life, you have the power to remove all unwanted conditions. And that goes so also for healing. Isn't what Jesus said, physician, heal thyself? That we have the power within us, the spirit within us to heal. But we will never know these truths or these principles until we turn within. Close our minds and our minds and our thoughts and our eyes to the things of the outer world and look within. Yeah, and I'm sure some folks gonna say, how can I see when my eyes are closed? Well, very simple. When you sleep at night and you're dreaming, you see, don't you? You see things that are going on in your dream. You experience things that are going on in your dream. You participate in things that are going on in your dream. And a lot of times these things are just as real as if they were taking place in your awakening state. You see it, you feel it, and you experience it. This is the inner eye, the spiritual eye, that is centered in the center of your forehead. It is called the all-seeing eye, for it never sleeps, sees everything, knows everything, is everything. As I said earlier, life, the outer world, is constantly changing, very fluid. And we have a tendency to not be able to see the truth behind those changing events of the outer world. But I say to you, when you look in the mirror, think back of how you looked 25 years ago. And look at how you look now. There's been a change. Something happened. And when we look in the mirror and see that there has been a change, we sometimes say, well, I still feel the same, but I don't look the same. What has happened? The focus has been on the changing things of the outer world. When you look within, when thine eye is open, then you behold life as it is. Life is unchanging. It remains the same. Life is stable. Doesn't fluctuate up and down, in and out. life stays the course. And when we are in tune to this life force that is unchanging, there is stability, there is growth, there is unfoldment on the inner planes of life. We have come into this manifestation to bring forth that inner awareness, to open our eye to the truth of what we are. And not as the world will have us to be, constantly changing, not knowing from one moment to the next what to expect. For we are not in control. We have allowed the world and the things of the world to dictate, to control, and to a large degree determine our destiny. We're looking to the world for our good. Now, when Jesus had touched the eyes of the blind men and had healed them, as he said, according to their faith, and scripture states their eyes were open, their faith. You know, there's also the story about the lady who had the issue of blood that just touched the hem of his garment and she was made whole. Faith is a very powerful tool, a very powerful faculty that we have within us. It can change the direction of the wind, stop some storms, quiet the raging sea. Jesus demonstrated that when he was on the boat with his disciples and the storm came up. And they cried out, "Master, save me." And Jesus said, "O ye of little faith." And he calmed the waves. That same power and ability that is the man Jesus is also within you and I. We have the power to quieten the raging storms of the world. Those things that take place within us that appears to rob us of our peace and our joy, our harmony and our happiness. And so after Jesus had opened their eyes, he told them, "Okay, now don't go out here and tell folks what I did. Don't go out here bragging and talking about I healed you of your blindness. Keep it to yourself." But you know how we are when something good happens to us. We got to tell the world. Got to let everybody know what done happened. We done hit the lottery or whatever it is. Came into a new job, came into some money, something good has happened. We got to let the world know. Somebody did something to help us, and here we are. Jesus said to those men, "Don't open your mouth. Go about your work." And what Jesus was saying was this: when we start to talk about the things that have transpired in our lives, other people will try to create doubt. Oh, he didn't do that for you. She didn't do that for you. Don't you believe in that? Your eyes were bound to be open at some point in time. You were bound to be healed. There's no power in all the world that can do the things for you that Jesus did. So you got to stop believing. And then we go back into that state of doubt. Did it really happen? Was I really cured? Am I really healed? So many folks are saying it's all in your mind. And after a while, we come to believe. We come to accept that it was, that it is all in our mind. And there goes the faith. The faith begins to diminish. And so goes the power. And after a while, you're right back where you started. Your lack of faith has kept you in prison, in a situation or a condition that you've been struggling for years to get out of. You know, I sometimes wonder why people say that they believe in God and trust in God and have faith in God, Jesus. They're struggling, having a hard time. Everything seemed to be going against them. Well, your faith is not something that you confess with your mouth. It's something that you confess and believe with your heart, your soul. I have a saying that if you don't have faith, you don't have a leg to stand on. The wind will come along, the storms will come along and just drive you here, there, and everywhere. You have nothing to anchor yourself in. And it's not about religion. It's about believing in the power of the Spirit within you. God. And I'm going to say this. If your faith and your trust is strongly rooted in God, that's your religion. You don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to talk to anybody else. You don't have to listen to no lectures and no tapes and all of that other kind of stuff. Sit down, get quiet, turn within, and as Scripture states, be still and listen. The greatest teacher in all the world is the teacher that is within you. The consciousness, the spirit, the life and the light of the source that we call God. There is no greater teacher than the teacher that is within you. Jesus said it so plainly. I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am in you is the truth, the light, and the way. You need not seek anything else, because there's nothing in and of the world that can compare to the I am within you. Now, I know some folks have some problems with me getting up in the morning or whenever it is, looking in the mirror and saying, I am. I am the light of God. I am the child of God. I am the consciousness of God. I am the spirit of God. Folks have some issues saying those beautiful things about themselves. They don't believe that it's at all possible that this almighty presence that is responsible for all that there is has a dwelling place within them. Yeah, we're so caught up on ourselves. We'll think we all this from a bag of chips, whatever it is. But as I've said earlier, the world is fluid. Times are changing. Seasons are changing. When you look at your body and your mind changing, the only reality that there is of life is the very essence of what you are. Turn within and focus on the I am that is the very essence of what you are. The consciousness, the spirit, the light, and the life of God. As scripture stated, we are created in the image and likeness of God. That should always be our number one focus. Not that we are created in the image and likeness of our earthly parents, but that we are created in the image and likeness of the source that is responsible for all life. God, never or never, always unchanging. Always one with the source, in the source, with the source. Life as we know it in the physical form one day will cease to be. Where will you be? If your whole experience has been for the purpose of living in and through this physical body as the reality of what you are, where are you in the physical body is no more. According to your faith, are you made whole? According to your faith, are you healed? According to your faith, you can affirm with conviction, with feeling, and with authority. I am the light of God's consciousness, manifesting and expressing in and through this physical body now. And so it is. Namaste.